Are you being led by your fears or are you being led by your desires? Because when you are led by your fears, you're overthinking. When you're being led by your fears, you're doubting, you're overanalyzing, you're starting and stopping, you're not finishing, you're not taking enough action. But when you're led by your desires, you recognize that you might get rejected, right? You recognize that you might experience a disappointment. You recognize that you might fail, that you might not get the results you want, but that does not stop you. And see, what happens is so often we are afraid to make a mistake. We are afraid to get it wrong. And so we never try. And so we never take the actions that we need to take. We never take the chances that we need to take. We never take the risks that we need to take. So instead of going after what we really want, we settle. We settle for good enough. We settle for what feels safe. We settle for what feels comfortable. But the truth is that you only get one shot at this life. This is not a trial run. Like, you don't get to do this again. So what is it that you need to take action on today? Like, are you really willing to bet on yourself? Are you going all in when it comes to your goals, your vision, your business, your marriage, your relationships, your health? Or are you just saying, oh, well, one day? No, today is the day. One day is not guaranteed. But you have breath in your body right now. What are you doing with the time that you have right now? What are you doing with the gifts and the skills that you have right now? You got to be willing to go all in. You got to be willing to get up when you're not feeling your best and still give 110%. Like, you got to figure out, oh my God, do I need to go to YouTube and watch Dr. Houston for about 5 or 10 minutes? Because I got to get up. I got to get to the gym. Like, I got to make some more calls. I got to get a better job. I got to get a better marriage. I got to feel better about myself. You can't just sit around and be okay with mediocrity. You can't just sit around and be okay with being average. You can't just sit around and be okay with not having enough money to pay your bills. You can't just sit around and be okay with having to borrow money from people. Like, you've got to say to yourself, like, you got to shake yourself. Sometimes I'm like, Jessica, come on, get up. Like, I teach this. I'm a licensed social worker. I'm a certified coach. I'm an author. And I still have to talk to myself sometimes and say, oh, no, we're not going there. We're not going towards the downward spiral. We're not going to worry. We're not going to fear. We're not going to doubt. We're going after it with everything we've got. We're going to take those rejections. We're going to take those disappointments. We're going to take those no's, and we're going to pick it all up and we're going to bring it with us, but we're not going to stop. No. We're not going to have a pity party. We're not going to get into bed and pull the covers over our head. We are going to work what we have been given. We're going to work the skill set that we've been given. We're going to work the gifts that we've been given. We're going to work the mindset that we've been given. You've been given intellect. You've been given brilliance, right? And so if you're not careful, you're going to sit on all of these gifts, talents, and skills that you have because you got 1 no or 2 no's or 10 no's. It brings to mind Jamie Kern Lima, who is today a very wealthy woman. She started out as a struggling waitress, and she decided that she needed to create a cosmetic brand for real women. And she got no after no after no, year after year after year. Her and her husband were struggling financially, but she did not give up. And it's a good thing that she did not give up. Because 8 years later, yes, I said 8 years. How many of you have given up after 8 months? Some of you have given up after 1 or 2 tries, right? But after 8 years, she sold her company to L'Oreal for $1 billion. And so I say to you today, what are you sitting on? What are you sitting on? What idea are you sitting on that it is time for you to begin to implement? If you need somebody to walk you through it, to help you through it, you've got coaches. I'm a coach. There are plenty of coaches out there willing to help you. But you got to first be willing to help yourself. You've got to first be willing to acknowledge that you are not taking the actions that you need to take. And so you got what it takes. You're just not leveraging it enough. And you're allowing the roadblocks, you're allowing the challenges to stop you in your tracks. But you got to keep moving forward, keep pushing forward. Every step counts. And sometimes because you're not taking leaps or making leaps, you're feeling like a failure, and feeling like a failure causes you to go inward, and it causes you to stop. And so instead of actually taking the feedback that you are receiving and leveraging that to become better, you're sitting on your gifts. And so today I want to challenge you to get up and go after it. And not just go after it, but go after it with everything you got. You got this.